The long summer break is over. It's time for Formula One to get back going with the Belgium Grand Prix. It's the 14th stop on the 2022 calendar, a calendar that's been dominated by one and only Max Verstappen. But coming into the next three races, a triple header as well, it could turn the balance. It's Belgium this weekend before going off to the Netherlands, Verstappen's home race, and then off to Ferrari's home race at Monza in Italy. Then, after a 2-week break, we're in Singapore for the longest race of the season, always hits 2 hours. Then, a week later, it's Japan as well. Then 2 weeks off before United States and Mexico form a double header. Another break before Sao Paulo on the 13th of November, and the season rounds out in the 20th of November in Abu Dhabi. Max Verstappen leads the Drivers' Championship then on 80 points after spinning and winning last time out in Budapest. Charles Leclerc is second, he's only 80 points back, that's an astonishing gap. Sergio Perez is third, 85 points back from Verstappen, they're the three mathematically in the hunt for the title. George Russell 2 points clear of Carlos Sainz as well. Lewis Hamilton is 10 further back in 6th place, his worst season in F1 history. Lando Norris is 7th in a battle with Esteban Ocon and Valtteri Bottas. Fernando Alonso rounds out the top 10. Kevin Magnussen has 22 points in 11th ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, who is just clear of Pierre Gasly, who's now level on points with Sebastian Vettel. Mick Schumacher is a point clear to Yuki Tsunoda, Zhou Guanyu has 5, Lance Stroll 4, Alexander Albon the last driver with points in 3, Nicholas Latifi still pointless this season, and Nico Hülkenberg only did 2 races right at the start of the year. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead the way on 431 points. Ferrari and Mercedes are still on 330s and they are battling each other. Then we get Alpine in 4th, McLaren 5th, they're quite close together. Alfa Romeo in a battle with Haas, but who are mainly in a battle with AlphaTauri. Aston Martin close behind them and Williams still have 3 points. It's the 2022 Belgium Grand Prix, and this is your Grand Prix preview. Let's take a look around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium. 7 kilometres long, 19 turns with 9 to the left and 10 to the right. 2 DRS detection zones. It is the highest and longest track of the year. Starting a lap then on board with one of the McLarens. Downhill towards turn 1, the La Source hairpin. Down to second gear, 95 kilometres an hour. Control the exit, don't put too many wheels wide as you head down the National Straight. Coming in to the Red Water Eau Rouge, flat out 8th gear to 315 as you climb the hill to the top of Radillon and come down the Kemmel Straight, 8th gear, 325 kilometres an hour. You're flat out with the DRS as you drop down all the way to the Lacombe chicane, 4th gear, 180. Rise that up as you come into Malmedy now in 6th gear and 235 kilometres. Drop down towards Ravage, down to 4th gear, 140 kilometres. Drop down to 3rd if the track grip hasn't got it as you come into Speaker's Corner through turn 9. Flat out then towards Puong at turns 10 and 11. Flat out, 8th gear usually at 290 kilometres an hour at the exit as you rise up towards the Fagnes chicane. Drop all the way down, 5th gear, 175 kilometres an hour as you brave your way through to Stavolo. Down, 6th gear. Down to 4th gear at the exit. Curve to Port Frere, you're in 7th gear, 295 kilometres an hour as you rise up, 310, 325 kilometres an hour as you blast through turn 16, the first part of the fearsome Blanchimont now, flat out if you dare, before you come into the modified bus stop chicane, all the way down to, once again, 2nd gear, just 110 kilometres an hour. Ride the curbs, control the exit, fire it to the line, and that is a lap of Spa-Francorchamps. Hello everybody, and we are back after a very, very long summer break. Formula One returns for the second half of the season. That is already going to be so dramatic, because if the summer was anything to go by, the next half of the 9 races remaining in this year's calendar are going to be epic. Megan Birch joins me once again. Megan, welcome back. You weren't in you were in Hungary, but you weren't in the race hungry thanks to doing Formula E.
Yes, I know.
But you are here now, back for more action as well.
You still finished before me then.
I know, I still don't know how that happened. What are you most looking forward to coming into the second half of the season then? Because there's a lot happening.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this title fight's going to go on because we don't know who's going to win. I mean, it's looking very likely that it's going to be Max again. Though also it seems like the Ferraris are battling it out between themselves with it.
Yeah, the battle for second and third still on as well. But it's Max Verstappen with an 80-point advantage in the championship. Yeah, not 18, 80. 8-0. Unbelievable gap that he's got opened up as well. But of course, we come to Spa, Megan, with the regulations changing that stops Ferrari and Red Bull using their controversial flexi floors. Is that going to sort of bring Mercedes back into, not title fight, but in terms of race winning fight?
Hopefully, they need something.
Yeah, they still haven't won this year.
I know. If they don't win, it will be the first time in years.
First time since 2011 that Mercedes haven't won. And the first
11 years.
And the first time in Lewis Hamilton's Formula 1 career that he will not have won a Grand Prix in a season.
That feels weird.
He won one race in 2013 with the Mercedes, and he won two in 2009 in Hungary and Singapore. But still, it could be a good look because last time out, Mercedes did get their first pole position of the season, but it came from George Russell, who had an okay race. But I think back in Hungary, Megan, the one to talk about was Ferrari. An open goal with Perez not getting through to qualifying 2 and Verstappen starting 10th. An open goal for Ferrari to take the win, start to close up the championship. Leclerc finishes down in 4th and Verstappen spins and wins the race. And Ferrari once again look like a bunch of clowns. How are they going to fix that going into the second half of the season on the strategy side?
Well, first, I think they should have a really long talk with Charles and make him understand that he may be the first driver, he may be second in the championship, though he needs to work more with Carlos to actually manage to successfully beat Red Bull.
Do Ferrari's strategy department need to do anything? Because we've already seen this year that they've thrown away open goals.
Oh, yeah, they definitely need to do something.
Is it a bit 50-50 at the moment? Leclerc's own mistakes on track, Ferrari's power unit's mistakes as well, and the strategy errors?
Yeah, I would say so.
Lovely. Well, let's stop avoiding. We talked about the championship. Let's talk about the big things that have happened over the summer break as well, which literally kicked off on Hungary as well. It was announced on the Thursday, wasn't it, that Sebastian Vettel was retiring from Formula 1 at the end of 2022. That kicked off an entire summer's worth of news in the space of 3 days, because on the Monday, just after the Hungarian Grand Prix...
It feels so short ago that he said that, but also so long ago. Time doesn't exist.
I know. It's been a really confusing one, but this is what happened. So on the Monday, after the Hungarian Grand Prix, it was announced that Fernando Alonso will be staying in Formula 1 for another 2 years, but taking the seat of taking the seat of Sebastian Vettel.
Taking his own seat.
Yeah, this is how complicated it gets. So Fernando Alonso will be moving from Alpine to Sebastian Vettel's seat at Aston Martin. They looked around the factory, they told him about all the engineers that were coming in, and it seems like it's a good deal. Fernando, Megan, still seems to be at his prime. We saw in Canada earlier on this year, he's had great racecraft.
Maybe he can teach Stroll a thing or two.
Exactly, yeah. I mean they've got the world champion they were looking for. They've got the development there. But Megan, I want to ask you as well, as an Alonso fan girl, is this the right decision for Alonso to stay in Formula 1 for another 2 years and another new team?
Yes. Though I don't think Alpine may have been helping him quite a lot, though something tells me that if it doesn't work out at Aston, they'd gladly take him back.
Yes, and I think they might not have a choice about that, considering what happened next. So basically, this Alonso deal came completely out of the blue to everybody. Nobody expected it, least of all the boss at Alpine, Otmar Safnauer, who was told by Alonso that he would be staying with them for another 2 years. They offered him a contract, but Alonso said that the age thing, Alonso being over 40 now as well, the age thing was a bit of a concern for Alpine if he'll lose the pace. So they were using Oscar Piastri to maybe have Alonso for at least a 1 year contract. Alonso wanted a 2 year contract as well. But Otmar Safnauer thought things were going well, and then he apparently was told on the Monday when the Aston Martin press release came. So Alonso's just completely gone, nope, that's it, goodbye. And now...
It's like, well, if you're trying to threaten me with Oscar Piastri, then I'm just going to go.
So
you're like that.
Literally, as soon as that happened, on the Monday evening, I was camping at this point. I'd gone on a camping day as well. So on an evening's camping at a holiday resort as well. So I got to the camping resort, looked at my phone and thought, oh, brilliant. Oscar Piastri. He's going to get his shot in Formula One. It was announced Oscar Piastri will be racing in Formula One in 2023. And Megan, we've been talking a lot about Oscar Piastri as well. He's a great driver and he's deserved his shot. He was unfairly put out of it last year and missed off. So it was a good opportunity for him. But that's not happening. Because 2 hours after the Alpine announced that Oscar Piastri would be racing for them in 2023, Oscar, very similar to what Alex Palou did in IndyCar to Chip Ganassi Racing, put out a tweet saying, I understand that without my knowledge and without my agreement, Alpine have announced that I'm racing for them next season. I will not be racing for Alpine in the 2023 season.
They've really got to start consulting the drivers about
I know.
this thing.
So basically, Alpine have exercised their contract with Oscar Piastri to say, okay, you're going to be put into the main seat because we've got a contract with you. But the deal with Alonso was supposed to be for 2023. So Alpine, part of Alpine's contract is that with Oscar Piastri is they must find a seat for Oscar Piastri to race at. We understand that that seat was at Williams and at McLaren. So Williams have completely backed off because the next day it was announced that Alexander Albon would be staying with Williams, and a tweet that he put out that says, I am very much fully aware that Williams have announced that I'm staying with them to 2023. I'd like to say that this is absolutely true and a complete fact.
He's just like, we're staying out of this.
Yeah.
Don't bring us into this.
Completely taking the mickey. So... we've got Williams is out for Oscar Piastri, so the only other logical decision came at McLaren's door. But Lando Norris, earlier on this season in pre-season testing, announced that he's staying until the end of 2026. So
he's the poster boy for McLaren.
Yeah,
he's not going to leave.
So Oscar Piastri's not replacing him. He must be replacing Danny Ricciardo. But we've been thinking all year that Ricciardo's leaving McLaren. We got told 6 months ago he's not going to be there back at Monaco. And now... We apparently it wasn't happening. No. Oscar's going to be racing in Alpine. He's not going to be racing at McLaren. And then so all of a sudden we get on the plane. They got on the plane as well. We get on the travelling as well. We get all the information out. We get back into the routine. F1 get on the plane. And we land in Belgium with the announcement that Danny Ricciardo is leaving McLaren.
It's like,
and it wasn't his
make
decision.
up their minds?
Thing is, though, it wasn't Danny Ricciardo's decision either. The decision was taken from the team. So that must mean
Surely that's not allowed. I mean, that's basically sacking him.
Well, yeah, a year early of his contract. So basically, Zach Brown, as we've been telling you all throughout the year, has got this big pool of drivers across Formula E, World Endurance Championship, Extreme E, and IndyCar mainly. And now he's just put all of them through rigorous testing and saying, oh yeah, you're going to have a seat in F1 next year. Like Colton Herta, Alex Palou, Pato O'Ward as well.
They're making promises they can't keep.
Now it looks like Oscar Piastri's going to get that seat. It's unbelievable. But anyway, this is what Danny Ricciardo had to say in his meeting a few days ago. We've opened up, his social media, and this is what he had to say on Instagram 2 days ago.
Wanted to share some news. It's not great. It's bittersweet for sure, but I think it's best you hear it from me. 2022 will be my last year with McLaren. Just obviously we put in a lot of effort on both sides, but just hasn't worked the way we wanted. So the team's decided to make a change for next year, and so we had a lot of discussions, but in the end we mutually agreed that it was the right thing for both of us. I will continue to do the rest of this year, absolutely, and I'll continue to give it my all. So that's that. I think for the future, what lies ahead, I'm not sure yet. But we'll see. You know, I look back on this time with McLaren. I look back with a smile. I learned a lot about myself. I think things that will help me for the next step in my career, but I think just in general in life. I think from a results point of view, for sure, like to consistently get the results in that form that I was after, it wasn't always there, and made some weekends tough. I felt those absolutely, but I also have many happy memories of my time at the team, and I think about Monza. I think about standing on the top step. I think about bringing the team their first win since 2012. Like that sort of stuff was awesome, and to see the smile on everyone's faces, to just be in that moment, that's something I'll never forget. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to take from this as well. The sport, I still love it. This hasn't affected any of that. I still have that fire in me, that belief in my belly that I can do this at the highest level. So yeah, all that stuff's still there. But yeah, just wanted to say appreciate everyone's support through the highs, lows, everything in between. This isn't it for me, but yeah, we'll see what lies ahead. But just want to say appreciate you, and we'll see you in Spa.
Okay, so that was the announcement, as I'd have to take an earplug out and put it into Megan's ear as well, because we couldn't get her on ears fixed in time. So
it literally had to hang on very narrowly because my ears are very, very small.
Yeah, mine are custom as well, so they don't fit her, obviously.
It's like my ears are very small.
Anyway,
literally, that's the size of my ears.
They're very tiny as well. So let's talk about this Daniel Ricciardo then. You just said that. He said that there is an opportunity elsewhere, and he said in the press conference that we're actually seeing now on our screen as well. He said as well, I am open to racing anywhere in Formula One, but I don't want to race anywhere else. He's even thinking about taking a sabbatical. So the only seats that are open to him are Alpine, Haas, or Williams. I don't think he'll go to Williams.
No.
I certainly don't think he'll go to Alpine because that was Renault, and he got kicked out. He left Renault
because he didn't like it anymore.
Yeah,
because it wasn't for him.
He fell out massively with the team, but he still gets on with the engineers at Renault. But still, I think it's going to be Haas. I really think he'll take Magnussen's spot at Haas.
Well, Mick needs to go to a higher class team.
Yeah, but where could Mick go? Alpine?
Alpine?
Yeah, if Mick goes to Alpine, that's okay.
Him and Esteban work well together. Will they have a good friendship?
It's a really weird situation going on right now. It's all been kicked off by Sebastian Vettel announcing his retirement as well.
Seb's just kicked off a chain of events.
Okay, so that's pretty much as we understand it. Upright Fossil has just said as well, who knew that the setup of the car braking would end his moves as well? Glad he got that win, proving he was still ahead of Max. Yeah, absolutely. That Daniel Ricciardo getting the win at Monza last year as well. But this is all a mess. Let's talk about, first of all, though...
Watch he'll win.
Yeah, let's talk about Oscar Piastri. Is he going to be an Alpine driver next year, or is he going to be a McLaren driver? Because it's going to the contract...
McLaren, I bet.
It's going to the contract recognitions board on Monday, which basically means the FIA Court of Appeal will look at the contract that Alpine have and say whether or not you've got a race there or not for next year.
Then again, Mick could go to McLaren.
Mick at McLaren would be an interesting bet. I'd certainly pay for that, but I don't think I think they really want Oscar Piastri.
Yeah,
two young talents as well. And I know Mick is a young talent. I know, but Oscar Piastri, they really want him. Like they're after him.
Yeah, would they really pass up the chance of getting
Mick.
Michael Schumacher's son?
And a driver that's really talented as well, Mick. Yeah,
someone who has the potential and the family lineage of world championships after world championships. Would they pass that up? I wouldn't.
So if Danny Ricciardo goes to Haas, Schumacher goes to McLaren, then where would Piastri go?
Haas?
Yeah.
It's a starting point
or
for
Alpine. If Ricciardo goes Haas and Piastri goes Alpine.
And everyone seems just to go to Haas when they're starting out, so it makes sense.
And either way, this just looks like it's going to be a massive... It's going to be literally a jigsaw board, and no pieces fit at the moment for 2023.
Oh, it's like playing Guess Who. Even
Lewis Hamilton might walk away at the end of this year as well, because now we know that the contracts mean absolutely nothing. Hamilton could retire at the end of the year, and then just that's it. Then someone else can have to go in there. Why do
I have an image in my head of Lewis and Valtteri just walking away, just like, we're going.
Yeah, we're going
bike
by
ride away from the sport.
Okay, I need an answer because we need to wrap up before we get ready for the practice soon as well, because it's been so much, and that's pretty much it. Everything we know, at the moment. So we know that Mercedes are Hamilton and Russell. We know that Ferrari are Leclerc, Sainz. We know that Red Bull are Verstappen, Perez. We know Aston Martin is Alonso, Stroll. We know Williams is Latifi and Albon, but Latifi is questionable. So that's 5 of the 10 teams. That leaves... that means McLaren we know is Norris, but we don't know the second driver. Alpine we know is Ocon, but we don't know the second driver. The rest of the teams I can't remember. Who's there? AlphaTauri, they're locked in with Tsunoda and Gasly. The other two, I can't remember them. Alfa Romeo, Zhou and Bottas seem locked in. Haas, the last team. That's neither driver locked in there. So
yeah, though I would say Magnussen
will probably be locked in as well because they need the experience, and Mick isn't locked in. So
they need someone to teach the new driver if there is one.
Problem is, everybody's been saying that the 2023 grid is pretty much dealt with. In fact, and there's more opportunities in 2024. I don't see it. Personally, it looks like 2023 could be an entirely different class of field.
To me, 2023 looks to be like someone's just got a load of drivers and chucked them places.
It's going to be a really crazy race.
And there's too many drivers that have been promised things.
Yeah.
Like Colton Herta. Just like,
he tested,
we're going to do... You get to be in F1. Meanwhile, just like, everyone else gets a seat too. And also, I think Colton needs to master the IndyCar a little bit better since he keeps crashing out.
I tell you what, basically, McLaren is running an 18-car team next year just to try and keep up. Other breaking news then, we'll move away from this contract drama. I'm sure we're going to be talking about it a lot during the weekend anyway, across the practice sessions. But let's talk about the breaking news this morning that I think you know about, if you've heard it. Probably not.
Think I do.
It has been announced that Audi are joining Formula One.
Oh, I have heard that.
Good, yes. Audi are joining Formula One in 2026 as an engine manufacturer. Now, we were thinking, are they going to line up with Red Bull because they've got Porsche, and Porsche and Audi are basically the same thing.
They don't still have Honda, do they?
No, they don't. Red Bull have Honda until 2025. They're powertrains. Yeah, so Honda's still there.
Red Bull, go to Audi.
Why? Honda's now a world constructors and drivers winning championship.
I'm still not happy with them.
After Alonso, yeah.
Go to Audi. Either the shop or the manufacturer. I don't care which.
Yeah, so it was announced that Audi are coming in. Now, we understand that the Porsches are going to come in as a separate entity and they're going to be lined up with Red Bull in 2026. So who are Audi going to partner up with? Rumours was it was going to be McLaren, but it was also announced this morning that Alfa Romeo are leaving Formula One and it will return to being the Sauber name because on the entry list, it's Alfa Romeo Sauber. So we call them the Alfa Romeos, but it is Sauber. It's the Sauber team that's been around since the 90s.
Things?
I know, but this time it's going back to Sauber. So Alfa Romeo are leaving Formula One again, the name and the title sponsorship. It is now returning to Sauber, and apparently it's going to be Audi Sport Sauber, pretty much how it was in Formula E when it was Audi Sport Abt Schaeffler. So it's going to be Audi Sport Sauber in Formula One from 2026 onwards.
Brilliant.
But here's an interesting thing. The partnership with Alpine ends in 2020. The partnership with Alfa Romeo and Sauber ends in 2023. So for 2024 and 2025, it'll purely go back to Sauber before 2026 when it becomes Audi Sport Sauber. That's an interesting call, isn't it? So who's going to be the title sponsor for 2024, 2025?
Who knows?
Probably Rich Energy, because they've always been saying they wanted a way back. Anyway.
Though, immediately when you said Audi being a manufacturer, I thought, I wonder if Haas will go for that.
Haas are linked up pretty much with Ferrari, aren't they, at the moment? They're like their B team. I know Sauber's technically like the C team now, but Sauber...
But given how the engines are going for Ferrari...
But Sauber splitting away from Ferrari and going to Audi engines, that's a massive change. Audi and Sauber... Well, they've had German engines before, when it was BMW Sauber. And then Ferrari came in 2010 after Sauber left. That's Ricardo still playing, we can't hear it though.
I was wondering, I was like...
Yeah, Ricardo just started playing again on the Instagram.
So all of a sudden...
drivers, do you think German driver probably in at Sauber then? So it'd be Bottas for Finland, and which German driver would you put in there for 2026?
I don't know, Mick.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We're thinking the same way, thanks. Okay, that's about done then for the preview show. Nice extra long one here today because so much has happened over the summer break. We've got some news as well. Free practice ones are going to look a little bit different now because they're back to normal now that F1 have fixed their timing bugs as well. We'll have guests back. So joining me in free practice one will be Nathan Richie as well. And Josh Players will be joining me in the box as well as always. And then for free practice 2, Josh will stay alongside me for the commentary in the pit lane. And Megan will be back in the box as well to talk FP2. And do tune in to free practice 1 because there's a little difference about our sports this year. If you're on the Discord, you know what it is. We've got track audio in the background. So you're going to be hearing the cars as well for the first time. We've practiced several times, haven't we?
We have.
It's cool, isn't it? It just sounds great.
It's cool, yeah.
It sounds great.
But it was tiring when practicing.
Yes, it was tiring because we had to practice it. But
and occasionally you got a loud like noise in your ears and it was just...
We've also got a new screen. We've got a telemetry screen, so we can during battles for the lead or battle positions, we can open up that graphic and we can show you how much the drivers are revving, accelerating, how fast they're going, their sector times as well. So a lot more data to play with from now on. But yes, we've got car noises, not just for F1, but for F1, F2, F3, British Touring Cars, Formula E, IndyCar, and everything else we cover. We've got track noises. It's been a long time waiting.
He's very happy about it.
Oh, I can't wait. And also it means I don't have to press the button anymore to play the music. So no more. I can, if I wanted to, I can have a Coles mic now.
Same. I can no longer have to be like that and try and time it.
Yeah. We can now just literally just stand around and start talking. It's going to be fun. And also that means as well that it just changes everything up a little bit because it makes it a lot more easier now to do the weekend. So do join us. First practice gets underway. We're on air in half an hour, actually, until we start. So myself, Josh and Nathan will get ready in the comms box. Megan's going to disappear and go watch practice one somewhere else, probably in 4K with Dad.
And try and do psychology work.
Yeah.
Because trust me, I have no idea where to find this information.
In the mind. Anyway, I know, thank you. Right, we'll be back later on. My thanks to you, Megan, as well. And my thanks to all of you for watching. Join us for first practice in half an hour's time with track noise as well. It's going to look a load better and a lot different as well. We're very much looking forward to bringing you more coverage in the second half of the season. Feels like it's Christmas Day all of a sudden as well. It's time, though, to hit back on the road. What's that? We're all going on a summer holiday? We've done it now. It's time for the Midsummer Night's Dream to end and the racing to resume. Yeah, no winter. 9 races.
Winter.
Yeah, but 9 races left. Can we do the 9 races? Then you can have winter.
No, winter early.
No, 9 races.
Winter.
9 races.
Tell that to the shops.
Okay. Yeah, it was Christmas cards in the card factory yesterday.
I know, and this chocolate.
Anyway, we've done half an hour. We've really got to go. Right, we'll see you later for free practice one. Thanks, Megs. Take care, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.